the people I want to reach are the ones sitting on the fence. To be honest, now I'm going to be accused of stereotyping, but for me, it's just my sense of who I'm writing this book for is a white woman of about 47 who has a couple of kids and lives in a zip code probably like mine and is drinking a glass of Chardonnay at some gathering and reads The Atlantic and reads the New York Times and listens to NPR and is probably on her school board and is beginning to take this sort of thing in, is beginning to tell people there's certain books that they should read, is beginning to think that she needs to examine her inner racism, that that somehow helps Black people be less poor. And she's thinking that not because she's a bad person, but because we're all thinking about 1,000 things. And there's this whole new dialogue on the race thing that's expressed so articulately and so furiously. And you watch this man who's choked to death on the ground, and there are all these people on the street, and you start thinking, okay, I need to change how I think. Okay, I need to give Black people a break, and that's being anti-racist, and therefore I won't require them to actually make sense because I don't know how they feel. I can't put myself in their shoes. It's that teetering person that I see. And what I sense, talk about Black people being spiritual and intuitive. Well, here's some of my Black intuition. What I sense out there from social media, from conversations with that woman who's not a real person, but that woman, et cetera, is that everybody is open to reason, not the elect themselves, but that person, if made to sit down and listen to what these messages really are, might understand that she might want to go back to the way she was thinking about race 10 years ago. And understand, I'm not saying she shouldn't think about racism. Just go back to what you were thinking in about 2011. That was good enough. You don't need this psychological revolution, and you don't need to think that treating Black people like children is somehow an advance, even though you wouldn't think of it that way with your own children or people of any other extraction that you know. So the elect themselves, it's not a book about how to get through to people, how to have a dialogue. Sometimes there's no dialogue possible. The idea is to coexist with the elect graciously. But what about those people sitting on the fence who think that it's their job to read Robin DiAngelo and pretend that it makes sense? It's those people who I'm trying to reach with this book, because honestly, if a white person writes it, the white person is a racist. If a Black person writes it and they're 35, they don't know how much racism there is in the world, and they're going to go out and get their butt kicked. If the Black person writes it and they're 55, well, you can call them self-hating, but you don't mean it. I think anybody who knows even a little bit about my work knows that I don't exactly not like myself. And if you read a little bit more of my work, you see that I am not ashamed of being Black. I am very interested in Blackness in many ways. So, you can call me all the self-hating and the Uncle Tom, and I'm in bed with white supremacists. Nobody means it. Any sensible person can see that it's ridiculous. And so then they might listen and they might learn a little something. And that's all I want to do with the book.